Hi, how are you? So another day I'm not going outside. It's kind of windy and not warm enough to glue that up yet. Probably be another next week or week after that. That's how it goes. I still got plenty of water, hopefully. I'm not too sure. It's probably high 50s, but it's breezy, so I've been working around in the living room. Made another new bin. I'm draining out the water in the cardboard right now, so I can hopefully get 2 bins working here soon. I've got 1 bin already done of the cardboard all done, and then this one, and then I can harvest hopefully the phone book bin and show you guys that and make up a new one. That's a plan. That's what I've been working towards. So I got all the cardboard out of the soaking bin into that bin, and then put new cardboard in. Some I didn't fill it all the way up, but it's getting lower on water with all the water I've been using in that bin of soaking. And then the other day I was checking the Stackable, which I wanted to show you guys today. It's got dry cardboard on top, and I've wetted it, and it still won't keep the moisture in that for right now. All the worms are down below, and so I'm going to put coffee grounds on top of that, and the coffee grounds should absorb some into the cardboard on top and keep it moist, and then the worms will come up. So let's go have a look at that. So this is the first bin I ever made. It's called a Stackable. You've got 1 bin down here, and the other bin sits on here. And the purpose of that is the worms are up on top here, and then it has liquid. Then the liquid, if I can move this over, as you can see hopefully there, turn on some lights, and those are all holes drilled on that side and on the other side, but it's sloped down to this side, so all of it drains to the bottom, and all the brown stuff there, that's all castings from the worms that get stuck in between. Then they figure out how to go down below. Right now I just have the top bin going. You've seen the bin out at my mom's house, you know, her bin, and she has both of them going, which I might do that here. I've got, instead of not having it do anything in the bottom, I should get that going with some worms too. So let's have a look up on top if we could. Oops, everything's falling. And maybe I'll need a light. But as you can see, kind of down here, see, those are all castings there. This is what I've been using for my compost tea. There's all this fresh castings. There's a worm right there. So it's got some cardboard on top, which you probably could use some more. And I just throw in this paper. And this stuff is wet over here, where I wet it down yesterday. But my plan is to spread all the the coffee grounds on top of here and get the rest of this dry cardboard wet. And then the worms will come up. I still might feed them some banana peels. I might just throw those in once they thaw out. Yeah, I've got enough of them. They're not going to go to waste because the worms will eat them. So let's feed these guys the coffee ground mixture I just made up. So, no scientific process. I'm just dumping it all out. I just use a container like this. It's like Tupperware or something at one point. Makes a good food bin to start out with. That's what I usually use. See how it's curved here, and then it's kind of straight here where my hand is, but it's got an oval, and it's easier to pour with the spout kind of. It's not a spout, but the roundness part. So that's what I usually use. There's like an old Tupperware container. Maybe you can see that better now. And you know, I can pour out the stuff I want to feed them easier with. And with this, I'll just spread it around like frosting. It don't taste like frosting, that's for sure. But it, you know, all this is covered now, pretty much. So yeah, that should help keep the moisture in, and the worms will come up and feed on that. And then, as I said, banana peels probably will go up on top of this. And with this bin, for the past over a year, I've made a nice little cardboard lid. Has a flap here, and it covers most of the bin. And I found out that to be helpful in keeping the moisture in. At least, you know, for this bin. My phone book bin shows it even better, of them eating the flap, eating the lid here. But for the most part, the bottom of this will get wet eventually, and they'll start munching. The microbes will start munching on it, and the worms will start munching on them. So that is the first bin I've had. As I said, you know, it has very simple. Is it effective? For the most part, it's pretty ineffective. The bottom, if you're keeping worms in too, you have the space on both of them. Because when I made this up, I wasn't too sure how much to give it water. And that's the main thing, is you don't want to drown your worms. You don't want to drown your worms, but you want to have them moist enough, you know, at least 80 to 90% moisture in your bin. And so at the time I didn't know, you know, starting out, I'm going, oh, I'll do it this way. I've seen other people do it, and it was only like a couple months, like, oh, I just wasted a couple bins doing this, but not really. You think about it. In the top bin, you'll have 2 pounds of worms going. In the bottom bin, you'll have 2 pounds of worms going. So you got 4 pounds in that space. Once you get an established bin, because they won't max out. They might do 2.5 to 3 pounds maybe, but that's really pushing it out of that bin. From surface area, I think we've talked about surface area before. So many worms can live in just the surface area of a bin. So if you have like a 10-gallon bin or an 18-gallon bin, you'll get 2 pounds maybe out of 2 pounds or more, maybe 2.5 pounds out of a 10-gallon bin, and 2.5 maybe to 3 pounds out of these 18-gallon totes. These are actually 20-gallon, or about. That's why I figured out is about 20-gallon totes. So pretty much I should do the bottom bin of putting cardboard down, putting worms there, and taking the effectiveness of worms growing there too. Growing, reproducing and thriving in that. I'll just have to wet some more cardboard down for that. But yeah, that's a look of the bin. Hopefully you got to see it, and well, you did get to see it, but you learned a little bit from that. That Stackable works. The 360s, or the Worm Factory 360s and stuff, they're so small, they kind of work, but the worms don't move up and down. Don't let that fool you. I've seen many videos on it where they just sit in one tray, where they're supposed to be moving up and down in between the holes in the bottom of the trays. I'm not a fan of it. My worm in needs more water, so I might do that today, is wet that down again, because I haven't done it since the last time we were in there. So yeah, that's the Stackable for today. Figured I'd show you guys, and yeah, there's not much else to it. I just throw a blanket on top of it to keep, if there's any minute flies, fungus gnats, well, the flies wouldn't go in there. I don't have flies in my house, remember? Little fungus gnats and stuff, if I have any, but I haven't. I've got little ones floating around, but they don't last long. But that's the Stackable. Hopefully you learned something from it. Not sure what else to talk about it. Very simple to make. So I didn't get around to watering the worm in. I got caught up watching vlogs, catching up with those, listening to Pinal County Sheriff's Office. Nothing much has been going on, but it's been more active down there than it is around here, at least right now. Catching up on GH right now, seeing that CJ was watching it, and I haven't watched it the past few days, so I'm catching up 2 or 3 days, I think. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow, I don't know. And yeah, I guess Mythbusters, some Star Wars special or something, is coming on next or something. I don't know if I'll stay up for it or not. But nothing really much has been going on for Pinal County right yet. So thanks for watching today. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and not sure what's happening tomorrow, but I'll always find something to show you guys, or something happens.